Mandar Marathe. So, is a PhD student in the Department of Language, Culture and Linguistics. So, please start your presentation.
Hi guys. So, for those of you that don't know, my name is Mandar. I'm a first year PhD student in SOAS, and the title of my talk and my Arabic rhetoric in Arabic itself is called BALAGHA, and that's why the name is the BALAGHA Score. And over the next 15 minutes, because it's the digital methods panel, I want to focus on talking about the digital methods I'm using in my research. So first of all, I want to talk about quantitative linguistics, because my research is based on a key concept in quantitative linguistics, which we're using for a new use. As a part of Gaza, he is using a lot of rhetoric, and in this one tweet, I've identified all these rhetorical devices. And my question to you is, in this presidency, is he using more rhetoric than before? And if he is, what does it mean? But you can't answer the question, because you can't quantify how much rhetoric is in this tweet. To answer that question has been there for 100 years in quantitative linguistics. In fact, every laptop I see in this room contains the conceptual framework to answer this question. Let's say, for example, you wrote a story in Microsoft Word, and you want to know how complex is this story? Is it easy or difficult to read? Did you know there's a little button here at the bottom? I bet none of you have seen this button before or clicked on it. And if you have, it goes to this. And when you click on that, within a second, it gives you this metric, which is a reading ease score. It's in all of your laptops. And using the reading ease score, it tells you the grade level. So this Word document can be read by anybody who has finished grade 6 in the US. Now, how does it do that? And the answer is pretty straightforward. In the program, it has a list of complex words or difficult words. It goes through your text and counts the number of difficult words as a percentage of all the words in your text. And it's not just this has been used in many other fields in quantitative linguistics. You can compare your texts. It's well established. And the concept they're using is, if you want to measure how much X is in your text, all you do is you measure the number of X items in your text. Say, dialect words, complex words, words from particular genre, as a percentage of the total number of words in the text. It's really that straightforward. And what we're doing in my research is we're inventing a whole new measure which I've named the rhetorical density. And that's a new contribution to quantitative linguistics, and I've defined that as the number of rhetorical devices in the text. So, metaphor, simile, almost here, changing the word order in one place. And for each device, you can see a few here, for each device there will be a definition of the device. This is an example of tongue, what it is, how it's used, what's also called, other names for it, and there'll be examples of it as well. So this is the first digital tool to try and get together all the devices, and so everyone knows. So when I make this tool, I'm not going to do it myself, I'm not going to use it myself. The business model is that I publish the first paper, and then you guys go and use it, and give me a citation. And for that to work, everyone needs to agree on what are the devices, and how do you define them, how do you measure them, how do you identify them. So that's what this website hopefully will do. House is bigger than his house. That's 7 words in English. In Arabic, it's only 4 words. Now, if you have a corpus of 1,000 words in English, if you have a corpus of 1,000 words in Arabic, with this ratio of words, you look at the difference between 1,000 words and 1,500 words. Which is a huge variation. And the problem with that is that the variation is not, it's not using a different style of language. And you can see from this, in 1.2 seconds, it identified 414 words, but 464 individual morphemes. And to do that manually would take you, you've got all these devices, 100 devices, all these words. How do you keep a track of all the metaphors and similes and onomatopoeias, and how do you keep a track of it all when you're counting it? The answer is the third digital tool, which is a calculator on the website. What you do is you're reading a text, you identify a metaphor, you increase the count. You identify a metaphor, you increase the count on the right-hand side, and it adds up for you all the devices you've identified. And it gives you a numeric answer, which is the rhetorical density of that text. And this is rhetorical devices. So in summary, we discussed the key quantitative linguistics concept, which is used to make the density of people devices, and the 3 problems we faced, and the 3 digital solutions which we have created. The tools aren't ready for doing as an AI type thing. Out of 100 devices, we can identify maybe 20 of them electronically. So things like, for example, simile. He is like the king. The word like identifies as a simile, and so there are other indications like that for other devices. But that's only for Mandar, doesn't for 20 devices. There are over 100 devices. So in the future, machine learning will come, maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, but not at the cost of my PhD. So in terms of what is rhetoric, it's not my role to define what that is. That's beyond the scope of my work. So I'm looking at encyclopedias and primary sources that define rhetoric. This is a metaphor, this is a simile, these are all the definitions are for these devices. And I'm just taking those away.
Can I just add a little tag on then?
Yeah.
So like, is there any contention about what is a rhetorical, like is there a trump speech where someone says that's very rhetorical, or there's 5 rhetorical words, 10, and someone's like, no, there's a debate about what makes something rhetorical.
So that can happen. That's why I want to define exactly what each device is, so you can agree on whether it's there or not. There are some devices where it's a bit contentious as to how it's defined, and so we're going to exclude those in Arabic. But that's a minority. That's like maybe 5 or 10 at least, where the definition is so woolly and so wishy-washy that you think this cause chaos. So we do that.
For dividing up those morphemes in Arabic words, is that in comparison to English in your system, or is there other kind of underlying linguistic science that's helping you make those divisions, which of course are very different from language to language?
It's a great question, because we're having to make the words work in the sense that the technology is there to divide it, to break the words up into big chunks or really very small chunks. So it depends on your purpose. So if you're looking for machine translation, you want very small chunks, and then you can assign meanings to those different chunks and then translate it. If you have big chunks, it won't be able to translate.